Hello, my friends. My name is Chloe, and up until last summer, my biggest worry was hitting deadlines. I work as a graphic designer at a small firm in Pine Hollow, a town that's usually as quiet as its name suggests. But that all changed when Evan joined as a summer intern. At first, he seemed harmless, enough just a quiet kid, a bit awkward. But then, the strange visits to my cubicle started. He wouldn't say anything, just stand there, a little too close, staring at me. His eyes were blank, empty. It was like looking into a void. I tried to make small talk, ask if he needed help with anything, but he just smiled this slow, unsettling smile and walk away, sometimes humming a creepy little tune under his breath. The office at Hollowbend, which used to feel like a second home, suddenly felt like a cage. Fluorescent lights seemed to flicker more, casting long, dancing shadows down the empty hallways at night. I started staying late, less and less. Evan was always the last one to leave. I'd see his silhouette in his cubicle as I'd head for the door. Just sitting there in the dark sometimes, I'd catch him looking out the window. His face pressed against the glass, just staring into the blackness of the night. His presence began to poison the atmosphere. Coworkers would whisper when he was around, casting concerned glances my way. Sarah from accounting once pulled me aside, her voice a low hush. "Is it just me? Or is that kid off?" It wasn't just her. Evan's behavior grew more erratic. He'd leave strange things on my desk. A dead flower. A single black feather. One time, it was a crudely drawn picture of a stick figure with my name scrawled underneath, standing alone in a forest. It was the way he'd say my name that really got under my skin. Chloe, he'd sing-song, his voice a high, unnerving whisper that would drift over the cubicle walls when I least expected it. I felt constantly watched, a specimen under a microscope. I finally broke down and went to my supervisor, Daniel. I told him everything: the staring, the humming, the weird gifts. Daniel listened patiently, his brow furrowed with concern. He promised he'd handle it. A few days later, Evan was gone. Daniel told me he'd been let go, that his internship was terminated. There was a collective sigh of relief in the office. The tension that had been building for weeks finally broke. We thought it was over. We were so wrong. The next few weeks were a blur of normalcy. The office returned to its usual rhythm. The whispers stopped. I started staying late again, enjoying the quiet hum of the servers and the peaceful solitude. Life was good. Summer was winding down, the leaves just beginning to hint at the colors of fall. I had almost managed to forget Evan's unsettling smile, the hollow look in his eyes. Almost. Then came the morning that burned itself into my memory forever. It was just before dawn, that gray liminal time between night and day. A strange noise had woken me up, something I couldn't quite place. I lay in bed for a moment, listening, my heart starting to thud against my ribs. It sounded like whispering. I slid out of bed, the wooden floor cold beneath my feet. My bedroom window overlooks my backyard, which backs up against a dense patch of woods. I crept towards it, peering through the blinds. At first, I saw nothing but the pale, foggy light of early morning and the dark, skeletal shapes of the trees. And then I saw him, standing perfectly still at the edge of the tree line, just where my lawn met the forest. It was Evan. His hair was a mess, his face pale as bone in the dim light. Hughes, just standing there, motionless, like a statue. My blood ran cold. How did he know where I lived? What was he doing here? I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I just stood there, hidden behind my blinds, watching him. Then, slowly, he lifted his head, as if he knew I was there. A wide, unnatural smile spread across his face, It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. His lips parted, and I could hear his voice. Faint, chilling whisper carried on the morning air. Clay. It was the same sing-song tone he used in the office, but out here, in the silence of the dawn, it was a sound of pure dread. My name twisted into a threat. Then, he started to laugh. It wasn't a normal laugh. It was a high-pitched, hysterical giggle that echoed unnervingly in the quiet yard. It went on and on, a sound of complete madness, sharp and piercing in the still air. He laughed and laughed, clutching his stomach as if he'd just heard the funniest joke in the world. Frozen with terror, I fumbled for my phone. My fingers shaking so badly, I could barely dial 911. As I spoke to the dispatcher, my voice a strangled whisper. Awards. As Evan, still cackling, turned and calmly walked back into the woods. He didn't run. He just strolled into the dark embrace of the trees, his laughter fading until it was just an echo. By the time the police arrived, the sun was up. The flashing red and blue lights felt surreal, painting my quiet suburban street in the colors of a nightmare. They searched the woods, but they found nothing. No footprints, no broken branches. It was as if he'd vanished into thin air. There was no evidence he'd ever been there, except for the terror he'd left behind. I didn't feel safe in my own home anymore. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves outside my window sent a jolt of panic through me. The police patrolled the area for a few weeks, but with no sign of Evan, the case went cold. He was just gone. The summer ended and autumn arrived, but the chill I felt had nothing to do with the weather. I couldn't stay in that house. I broke my lease, packed my things, and moved to an apartment on the other side of town. I left my job at Hollowbend, unable to shake the memories tied to that office. I tried to move on, to put the memory of the boy with the empty eyes behind me. But some nights, when I'm alone in the dark, I still hear it. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. That high, hysterical laughter echoing from a place I can no longer see. I'll close my eyes, and I'm back at my bedroom window, staring out at the tree line, and I see his silhouette. A dark figure standing against the pale dawn. A ghost that haunts my waking moments and my dreams. And I know, deep in my soul, that a part of him never really left the woods. I never thought my first job would be the setting for a real-life horror story. I mean, it was just the local grocery store in Maplewood Hills. A place where everyone knows everyone. The aisles are always quiet, and the biggest drama is usually over the last carton of oat milk. I was 17, saving up for college, and happy to just be stacking shelves and bagging groceries. It was normal. So for a while, that's all it was. My co-workers were friendly, the regulars were sweet, and the days went by in a comfortable blur. But then there was Derek. He worked in the dairy department. 24, with long, greasy hair that always seemed to hang in his eyes. He was the kind of socially awkward that made your skin crawl. At first, it was just little things. He'd stare from across the store, a weird, fixed smile on his face. I'd be chatting with a coworker by the registers, and I'd feel his eyes on me from the back aisle, just watching. I tried to ignore it. He was just a weird guy, right? Plenty of those in a small town. Then the messages started. Private messages on social media. Hey, saw you at work today. You looked nice in that blue shirt. I blocked him, hoping that would be the end of it. It wasn't. He started finding ways to talk to me at work, cornering me in the stockroom or by the freezers. His questions became more personal, a little too curious. He'd ask about my friends, what I did after my shift. One day, he brought up a new coffee shop I'd gone to with my best friend, Holiday. How was the latte at the Daily Grind? Set, he asked, his voice low. I froze. I had never told him I was going there. I hadn't posted about it anywhere. How could he possibly know? That's when the friendly small-town vibes started to feel like a cage. The quiet aisles felt menacing. The friendly faces felt oblivious. I started noticing him everywhere. A glimpse of his messy hair disappearing around a corner. His reflection in the glass of the deli counter, just standing there. Overhearing a conversation I was having with my manager about changing my shifts, he'd later comment, "So you're working Tuesday nights now?" That's cool. Little details he had no business knowing. He was listening, always listening. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. Was I imagining it? Was I just being dramatic? My friends told me to just be firm, to tell him to back off. I tried. One afternoon, as I was clocking out, he stopped me by the door. "You're leaving already? I was hoping we could hang out." His eyes were intense. "No, Derek. I'm not interested. Please leave me alone," I said, my voice shaking more than I wanted it to. He just smiled that same empty smile. "Okay," he said, "if that's what you want." But the way he said it felt like a threat. That night, everything changed. I was in my room, lights off, trying to unwind. Maplewood Hills is dead silent at night. So when I heard the sound, it was unmistakable. Tap, tap, a soft, rhythmic tapping on my bedroom window. My heart hammered against my ribs. My window is on the second floor. I crept out of bed, my whole body trembling, and peeked through the blinds. There was nothing there. Just the dark, empty yard, the streetlights casting long shadows. I told myself it was a branch. It had to be a branch. But the sound came again. Tat, scrape, tat. It sounded like a fingernail dragging against the glass. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I checked my phone. Dozens of unread messages from a new account. All from him. The last one made my blood run cold. "Good luck changing your address." That was it. I couldn't breathe. He knew where I lived. He was outside my window. This wasn't just a creepy coworker anymore. This was a nightmare. I showed my parents everything. The messages, the story. My dad's face went pale with rage. The next day, we went to my manager. I watched through the office window as he called Derek in. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I saw Derek's face twist with anger. He was fired on the spot, plid. We then went straight to the police department in the next town over, Ridgefield. I remember sitting in the passenger seat, watching the flashing blue and red lights reflect off the wet pavement as we filed a restraining order. It felt surreal, like a scene from a movie, not my life. The weeks that followed were hell. The restraining order was just a piece of paper. It couldn't stop the paranoia. Re-creak of the floorboards at night sent a jolt of terror through me. I'd double-check, triple-check the locks on all the doors and windows. Every time I looked outside, I'd imagine a figure standing in the shadows, just beyond the reach of the porch light. I lay awake for hours, just staring at my bedroom window, waiting for the tapping to start again. The quiet, empty streets of my town, once a source of comfort, now felt like a hunting ground. He was gone, but he was everywhere. Time did what it's supposed to do. It passed. The seasons changed. Autumn's chill gave way to winter's snow, then spring's thaw. I graduated high school. I got accepted to a college 3 states away. The fear slowly began to fade, replaced by the excitement of a new beginning. We moved. I packed up my life, said goodbye to Maplewood Hills, and tried to leave the ghost of Derek behind. I changed my number, deleted all my old social media, and started fresh. For a while, it worked. I felt free. I felt safe. I started to believe the nightmare was finally over. I convinced myself that with enough distance, with enough time, he would just become a bad memory. A story I'd one day tell about the crazy guy from my first job. But some stories don't have an ending. Some nightmares follow you. And no matter how far you run, they always find you. It's late now. I'm in my new dorm room, hundreds of miles away. It's a quiet night. The campus is asleep. And a few minutes ago, a sound started. A sound I haven't heard in over a year. A sound that makes the air in my lungs turn to ice. Tap, tap, tap. It's coming from my window. Thank you for listening to our stories. Please like and subscribe to our channel.